Welcome back. Previous video we were discussing about namespaces. So in this video we let us see a little more about namespaces. We have something called using. It's a directive makes qualifying of referred class name by names of enclosing namespace unnecessary. So let us see what is the meaning of this. See, look at this. We have two other files, 7.h and 80.h. We have a main using namespace a1. Now look at this a obj1. Say obj1 is an object of the class defined in a1.h. Is clear. And I need not to use namespace again. It's understood that this a2 dot scope resolution operator a obj2, so which says that this a belongs to the second one, which is in a2 dot h. So it's very clear. So using this directive we can avoid this. Using directive enable us to make the class definition inside a namespace visible, so that the qualifying the name of the referred class by the name of the namespace is no longer required. So I hope you understood this. So this is another way of doing it. So we can compose some long name of namespaces. We can avoid, no, we can delete the long names. So think that you have got a very long namespace, and I'm giving it as very long name. Look at this, and I have a class called a, and this is my main method. So what I do is, now this is a definition for this, a very long name a1. So very long name. So what I do is, um, yeah, look at this. Uh, this is my namespace, a very long name. I have a class called a, like in the previous case. So after this, what I do is, I'll assign this very long name to a small name. See, namespace x is equal to a very long name. I'll be assigning, declaring an alias for this, declaring a what do you call a small name for this. After this, using this x, I can access the class called a, which is in a1.h. Look at this. So this is the way we can avoid the long names. Long names can be shortened, which can be assigned to a smaller variables. So I hope you understood this. Assigning a suitably short alias to such a long namespace name solves the problems as we can see in this figure. So this is all about namespaces. Next is about nested inner classes. So as you have seen, inner classes, a class can be defined inside another class. Such a class is known as nested class. So you have to be very clear with this. A class can be defined inside another class, and that class is known as nested class. The class that contains the nested class is known as enclosing class. So please be very careful. This we have a nested class and enclosing class. Nested class is defined inside another class, and the class that contains nested class is known as enclosing class. So look at this. We have a class called a. Your a starts here, as you could see in a green color. Class a starts here and ends here. Inside this we have another class called b, which starts and ends here. So let us see what is uses of this. And when you do this, you should make sure that what you put inside your nested class do not have any relevance outside its enclosing class. So this is, do not have any relevance. So the size of the object of enclosing class is not affected by presence of nested class. This is again very important. So if you put something in the nested class, which doesn't mean that your enclosing class size is going to increase. Let us see an example for this. So I have a class called a. Your a starts here, as you could see here, and which ends here. And this is my nested class, which starts and ends here. Now look at this. What is my a? A is my enclosing class, and b is my nested class. Look at this. So size of int, normal integer takes 4 bytes. I'm going to see what is the size of a. So size of a is going to remain as it is, which is 4 bytes. because which is having a single integer. So what happens even if you put uh, nested class inside the enclosing class, the size of the enclosing class remain as it is. So member function of a nested class can defined outside the function of enclosing class. This is another interesting thing. So nothing like it is not mandatory like you have to define the member function of a nested class inside that only. If you want, you can do it. So how this is done? This is very done very interesting way. This is done by prefixing function name with the name of enclosing class followed by scope resolution operator, then which is in turn followed by name of the nested class followed by the scope resolution operator. I Let us see how this is done. Look at this. We have a class called A. This is my enclosing class which starts here and which ends here. Inside this I have a class called B, which is having a method called B test. Now what happens? B test is only I just defined my prototype. Definition is not there for this. Where I should define this? If I want, I can define this method outside the class. So I've done it. So this is first one I have taken as nestclass.def header file. I'm just including this over here and void. Look at this beautiful statement. This is statement I told. First you have to write which is enclosing class. Enclosing class is my A. Then you have to give the scope resolution operator. Then you have to give the nested class name. Nested class name is my B. Again you have to give my your scope resolution operator and the method name. So where this applies, I'm going to define this. So I'm going to define this function. So this is so nested class may be only prototype within its enclosing class and defined later. This is another way of doing it. Nothing like we have defined the complete class inside enclosing class. This is not mandatory. Look at this again now. Beautiful statement. So what it does is you have a class, you have a class B, you have only prototype for that. You have not defined your class B. Nothing is done for that. Only you have a function declaration like no, you have a prototype, class prototype. Where this is defined. See how this is defined. You have to give a class A. This is your enclosing class. Then scope resolution operator. Then you should give your nested class name. So inside here, so from this brace to this brace, you can keep your definition for the class. So object of nested class are defined outside the member of the function of the enclosing class in much the same way. So look at this statement. How we create objects. This is same way as the previous. So you have to give your enclosing class, scope resolution operator. B is your nested class, and you can create object like this. So the above line will compile only if class B is defined within public section of a class. So that you should make sure that your class B should be in the public section of your enclosing class. Otherwise, the compiler will give an error. An object of nested class can be used in any of member function of enclosing class without scope resolution operator. Moreover, an object of this nested class can be member of enclosing class. This is again interesting statement. Let us see what is the meaning for this. Yeah, look at this. So we have a class called A. Class B is my nested class. So B1. So what is B1? B1 is an object of my nested class, but this is again a member of my enclosing class. I can do it, and I have a method called test. Test is a method that belongs to my enclosing class. So this I have put in nest class obj.h. After this, I'm just writing definition for my test. So a test belongs to a class called A, and b1 dot b test. I can call this. B1 is my my object for my nested class. If I want, I can create another object for my B2. I've created two objects B2 here, and B1. I've created two objects which can be a member of enclosing class, or even outside the enclosing class also I can create objects. And using this object I can access the method again B2.bTest. I could do this. So this is a meaning. An object of the nested class